On today's primetime local news, coronavirus scare, masks sold out in Lloyd, how you can protect yourself. We talk to the experts. An Onion Lake Cree Nation is building tiny homes for those in need. Plus, the 54th Super Bowl is gearing up to take place this Sunday. The guys talk about their picks on today's sports panel.
Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
With the concerns surrounding the coronavirus, many people have turned to surgical masks to avoid contracting the virus, but the masks are becoming harder to come by in the border city. Sprucewood Pharmacy is just one of several businesses in Lloydminster that is either running low or sold out of masks entirely.
We've had lots of people looking for masks lately. Right now they're very difficult to get in. The wholesaler wasn't obviously anticipating a world health emergency, and so the demand is very high right now. We're sold out right now. We're waiting for the wholesaler to restock.
While many people are wearing masks to steer clear from the virus, there's no evidence they will prevent a healthy person from contracting the coronavirus. Washing your hands frequently and avoiding touching your eyes are the best ways to stay healthy.
In terms of treatment protocols and whatnot right now, so prevention does become key. Fortunately, in Lloydminster, we're unlikely to be exposed to it at this time. If you were in China, you'd be at a higher risk of exposure. And again, it's that droplet contact prevention that we would be looking at predominantly. So in our case, good hand washing is probably sufficient.
There are no confirmed cases of coronavirus in Alberta or Saskatchewan. Meanwhile, health experts in Alberta says Canadians should be more concerned about influenza. This comes as another flu death was reported in the province last week. 20 people have died in Alberta alone this flu season. The number of flu vaccines doses administered in Alberta has already surpassed the total given out last year. Health officials say the best defense against influenza is getting the flu shot. 12 young members of the Onion Lake Cree Nation were recognized for their efforts in the community this morning. They'll help to build 2 of 4 new tiny homes for the First Nations. Eric Bay has more on how the Tiny Homes Project has impacted those involved.
The Tiny Homes Project had students spend 20 weeks building entire homes from start to finish, learning skills that could help prepare them for a future in trades.
I know that in Alberta there's 49 trades, but when we went through this program we identified 23. But the 3 main trade programs are the carpentry, electrical and plumbing. So what happens is they give them exposure, and if they can get that opportunity, they can grow in that capacity.
All work was volunteer effort, with the students doing all the work for free, gaining experience while giving back to the community.
When I had something that's hands-on like this, I found it interesting, unique, something that's easy to do. It also let me learn a bunch of team building skills with people I never knew, and I'm glad to call them my friends now.
The 12 graduates of the program were celebrated with a banquet, recognizing how their work goes beyond themselves and impacts Onion Lake.
It's like a ripple effect. When you drop a pedal, they're the pebble. They get the skills, necessary knowledge. It spreads out. It goes to their family, friends, and to the community eventually, where they can gain a sense of well-being, right? A sense of being self-sufficient.
Some of these units that the membership are going to be getting are probably being built by their own kids or grandkids, right? So that is this project is just a blessing to the nation, and I'm hoping there's more projects like this, after this project is done.
The homes are nearly complete, with decks still needed. Many of the students are looking to continue their education in a post-secondary trades program. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
And now a look at your weekend weather with our Abby St. John.
Thanks, Judy. It's currently -1 here in Lloydminster. Fairly cloudy skies, as we'll see that further into overnight. It was a fairly clear and sunny day out today, but the clouds have definitely rolled in. Winds coming in from the southwest at 17 kilometers per hour, making it feel closer to -6 with that wind chill. Across Alberta, +1 in Cold Lake and out in Rocky Mountain House, +2 in Red Deer and Edmonton, 0 in Edson, Whitecourt, Athabasca, and +3 out in Jasper. On the Saskatchewan side, -3 in Meadow Lake, and in Saskatoon, -5 in Melfort, and -1 in Prince Albert and in North Battleford. Overnight in North Battleford, they will experiencing some icy conditions overnight and into tomorrow, with the temperature dropping to -6, and that wind will be at 11 kilometers per hour coming in from the south-southeast, and pick up tomorrow at 13 kilometers per hour coming in from the west, with a daytime high of +3 and a fairly sunny day with just a little bit of cloud coverage throughout. In Cold Lake overnight, they could see some flurries heading into tomorrow morning in the mid-afternoon area, with the temperature dropping to -4 overnight, and that wind will be at 7 kilometers per hour coming in from the south-southeast, and pick up to 19 kilometers per hour tomorrow coming in from the west, with a daytime high of +2 and a chance of snow throughout the morning and afternoon. Here in Lloydminster overnight, we could see some rainfall starting overnight and into tomorrow morning, turning into a mixture of snow and rain, hopefully dying off by the afternoon, with the temperature dropping to -4, and that wind will be at 13 kilometers per hour coming in from the south-southeast, and pick up to 19 kilometers per hour tomorrow coming in from the west, with a daytime high of +3, which will feel closer to -19 with that wind chill, and a low of -4. On Sunday, it will be a mix of sun and clouds with a high of -7, which will feel closer to -24, and a low of -9. On Monday, to start your week off, it'll be a clear, sunny day with a high of -15, which will feel closer to -24, and a low of -19. That is a look at your 3-day forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland is urging the opposition party to get on with enshrining the revamped North American Free Trade Pact into law. Freeland kicked off debate on a bill to implement the New Deal by saying it is time for Canada to join the U.S. and Mexico by ratifying the deal. She says the new NAFTA preserves the core of the existing North American Free Trade Agreement while improving parts of it that affect numerous Canadian industries. The United States and Mexico have already ratified the agreement. The Canadian implementation bill has been introduced in the House of Commons, with only the Bloc Québécois voting against a motion to make way for the legislation. While the federal and Saskatchewan governments plan to spend $8.1 million on livestock-related research. The projects will include looking at the use of supplements to counter the effects of high sulfur levels in livestock water supplies. Other research will focus on developing new and improved forages. Some of the projects will also include funding from the Saskatchewan Cattlemen's Association, the Western Grains Research Foundation, and Feedlot Health Management Services. Saskatchewan Cattle's Association Chairman Rick Toney says having governments invest in research along with industry groups is a key part of staying competitive in the global business. And now here are your agriculture prices for today.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Centre Auto Body.
And now in sports, the Bobcats are looking to turn the tide and get back in the win column after a good stretch in November and December. January has not been nice for the team. Our Evan Kenny has more on that from the Civic Centre.
That's right. This weekend, the Bobcats have a tough test hosting the Whitecourt Wolverines in back-to-back games. On the season, the Bobcats have won 1 game against the Wolverines. Meanwhile, they've dropped 2, including this past Saturday. In the game, Chance Adrian scored the lone goal, and Garrett Larson made 30 stops.
I thought the later part of the first period we just got outworked. It wasn't that they were doing anything pretty or anything fancy. It was just they strapped the work boots on. I thought they fought the puck the first 6 to 8 minutes, and we dominated the first 6 to 8, and then we turned it into more just trying to be a skill play instead of the work boots. And when you do that, it's tough. It's a long night. And
While the Bobcats haven't been able to pick up a win in the new year, different can be said about the Whitecourt Wolverines. The Wolverines have earned a point in every game they've played since December 20th. This is Martin's first season as the head coach of the Whitecourt Wolverines. In the past, Martin was the head coach in the SJHL as well as an assistant coach under AJHL legend Gord Thibodeau. Martin's teams are typically defensively orientated, so goals will be hard to come by for the Bobcats. His teams also apply a lot of pressure when they don't have the puck, so quick transitions and quick breakouts will be key for the Bobcats. This starts with offensive defensemen Tegan Skihart and Tyson Kwolek to break those pucks out. Puck drop is at 7:30 tonight and tomorrow night here at the Civic Center. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
And now to our Abby St. John with a look at your weekend weather.
Thanks, Judy. Taking a look at our satellite radar, lots of activity, heavy rain and snow mixture outside of Edmonton area into Edmonton and outside of Vegreville as well, making its way more east towards Lloydminster. We'll experience some light rain tomorrow morning, and then it'll turn mostly into a snow mixture, which should die off by the end of the afternoon. And then heavier cloud coverage making its way towards more the Saskatchewan side. Not a whole lot of activity going on the Saskatchewan side, but down in the Battlefords area, there's that mixture of snow and rain, and up past Cold Lake into close to Pierceland as well, having that mixture of snow and rain to look out for. -1 here in Lloydminster as well as in Macklin, North Battleford, Pierceland, and Green Lake. -2 in Maidstone, St. Walburg, and Isle Cross, and -3 in Meadow Lake. On the Alberta side, -2 in Provost, +2 out in Edmonton, -1 in Wainwright, Vermilion, Vegreville, Marwayne, and in Bonnyville, and +1 in St. Paul, Cold Lake, and in Lac La Biche. Tomorrow here in Lloydminster, daytime high of +3, as well as in Wainwright, Vermilion, Vegreville, Edmonton, Marwayne, Bonnyville, and Lac La Biche, +2 in Cold Lake and in St. Paul, and +5 down in Provost. On the Saskatchewan side, -1 up in Isle Cross, +2 in Green Lake, Meadow Lake, and in St. Walburg, +3 in Pierceland, Maidstone, and North Battleford, and +6 down in Macklin. Overnight across the region, Meadow Lake, Bonnyville, Isle Cross, Pierceland, Paradise Hill could experience some snowfall overnight and into tomorrow morning. Murnum and Wainwright experiencing that icy freeze overnight, so definitely be cautious about that tomorrow as it will be slick and icy. -5 in Meadow Lake, Isle Cross, and Paradise Hill, -4 in Pierceland, -3 in Bonnyville, Murnum, and in Wainwright, -6 in Unity, and -2 in Provost for your overnight temperatures. Nationally across Canada, +12 out in Vancouver where they're experiencing some rainfall, -21 up in Yellowknife where they're experiencing some snowfall, -4 in Regina where it's heavier cloud coverage, -5 in Winnipeg where they're sitting fairly clear, -3 also out in Halifax where they're also sitting fairly clear, and then -7 in St. John's, Newfoundland, with they're sitting fairly cloudy. High of -3 and a low of -4 for tomorrow, where we're experiencing some snow mixed with rain tomorrow morning and dying off by late afternoon. On Sunday, it'll be a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -7 and a low of -9. On Monday, to start your week off again, it'll be a nice clear sunny day with a high of -15 and a low of -19. On Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -5 and a low of -19. On Wednesday, a little bit more sun, then cloud with a high of -1 and a low of -7. High of -1 also on Thursday with a mix of sun and cloud and a low of -5. And then on Friday to wrap up your 7-day forecast with a high of -6 and a low of -18. That is look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more news in the question of the day coming up after the break.
It's an exciting weekend. Super Bowl 54 is taking place this Sunday, of course. How are you, or where are you going to be partying and celebrating Super Bowl? I know I'm going to be at home in my place watching the show. Yep. I call it the show, but the performance and the games, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be, that's how I'm going to celebrate it. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to be the same way. I'm just going to kick back and watch the game like I watch every Sunday. I mean, not much changes during football season. Sundays, I'm watching football.
You love football, though. You're a football girl. I mean, from what I've known so far, it's like you eat football.
Yeah, I do pay attention to the NFL specifically.
Yeah.
I do watch CFL, but I find the NFL more interesting. But I watch it very closely every Sunday. Always counting down the days to the start of the new season.
Of course.
Yep.
And so who are you cheering for?
The Chiefs. I'm not they're not my team.
Yeah.
Neither team is in the Super Bowl. That's my team.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose, I will go for the Chiefs. Part of my family, extended family, likes the Chiefs. So, and I like Patrick Mahomes. I think he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think they have a great team, and I think it's going to be a very tough match for both teams because they're both very explosive teams.
For sure.
So it's going to be a good game.
And I'm looking forward to the halftime with J-Lo and
Shakira. That's going to be a really good show.
That's going to be amazing. I'm so glad that they're doing it. I'm excited about that part too.
Yes,
right? And
I'm
hopefully
very
it's long enough.
Yes.
And they play more music than just one or two.
Oh yeah, they will.
And that is it. Let's look at the pets. Thanks for sending in the pet picks for a chance to win a gift card from the Pet Pad. Of course, stay tuned. We're going to be announcing the winner at the end of the show.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Hello, I'm happy to be joined once again on our PTLN news set by Ryan Armstrong and Stephanie Dobson. Welcome back to talk about the free legal clinic and information nights.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First thing we want to talk about is for February. So you have the free public legal information session. And I know we've talked before, but Ryan, maybe tell me what exactly are these sessions designed for?
So these sessions are a little more general in nature. They're about a specific topic. In this instance, it's family law.
Okay.
And so the presenter will be a local lawyer who attends, likely with a PowerPoint presentation, and we'll have some speaking points and some information on various aspects of family law, such as custody access, child support. And there will be an opportunity to ask questions that are somewhat generic in nature, although I appreciate people often make them specific. Mm-hmm. And there'll be a little bit of time for Q&A at the end of it.
Okay, and what is the date and the time of this one, and where is it at?
The date and time is February 20th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay.
And that's at the Community Services Building here in Lloydminster.
And do you have to sign up for this one, or you can just show up for this?
No, this is not like our clinic, so they can just show up.
Okay.
There'll be a group of people likely there. It will probably be a little better attended because it's about the family law topic.
Right.
But there'll certainly hopefully be at least 10 or 12 people there. And we encourage everyone to show up early.
Okay. And Stephanie, next question for you. I want to talk about the free legal advice clinic. Mm-hmm. Now, this is coming up in March, and we always like to kind of promote both of these at the same time. Mm-hmm. So this works a little bit differently. Tell me about the dynamics of anybody who wants to get into the free legal clinic.
Okay. So the free legal clinic is a sign up required. So you can call the number, which is 587-789-0727, and that number will be on the Facebook page as well, I believe. And you have to call ahead, and there's a financial eligibility requirement.
Okay.
So the idea of the free clinic is that free local lawyers are helping people that are of low income, and so when they call in to book the appointment, they'll have some income testing that they need to do, and then they can book in with one of our lawyers.
And is there a specific subject for this legal advice clinic, or when the people call in, do they say, I want to talk about divorce or landlord-tenant or whatever the case is? Can they kind of pick what they want to talk about?
Yeah, so whatever the particular person's problem is, they'll just let the intake worker know, and they'll make sure that that particular topic, that we have a lawyer available. And most of the time, the topics are around family law, sometimes criminal, landlord-tenant, employment law, those sorts of things. But At the end of the day, there's no restrictions on the kind of law that we can provide advice on. We just have to make sure that the lawyer who specializes in that particular area is able to volunteer in that evening.
Okay, yeah, and that they'll be there. In regards to the actual services that you guys provide, why is this something that you guys do? Maybe I'll throw that to you, Ryan. Why do you like to, and why are you involved in these two events?
Well, this was born out of one of our Battle for Bar Association meetings when we had involved Pro Bono Law Alberta and Pro Bono Law Saskatchewan. There's these clinics are offered in other centres, usually larger centres, and they're staffed on a more frequent basis. But we thought in Lloydminster, at the time it was the downturn in the economy, and certainly I think a lot of us local lawyers were seeing a need for something to stem the gap between what legal aid covers and what can be reasonably covered on a long-term basis with a local lawyer. And so in that regard, we teamed up with the other law firms in town to ensure that we could staff these clinics, and we've now moved for the past year to having something once a month, so we're pretty proud of that.
Okay, and Stephanie, just before we go here, we had been talking about the legal advice clinic, and because it is a sign up, some people will wait till last minute, but if it's very popular, you could get stuck in basically, well, no, you can't go to this one, you might go to that one. So basically you want people to sign up as early as possible?
So all of our clinics are held, whether it's the education seminar or the clinic itself is held on the third Thursday of every month. And so you can sign up for any of the clinics. We have the clinics scheduled all throughout 2020, and when you call in, you can let them know which is the most convenient time or month for you. But they do fill up. So we typically have somewhere between 2 to 3 lawyers. If we find that there's a huge demand, we can find additional lawyers for that. So our goal is to have all of our clinics completely full and in need of additional lawyers. So the sooner that you sign up, the more likely it is that we can accommodate everyone who has the need.
Okay, and just one more time before we go here, Stephanie, what's the best number to call to set up these appointments?
Okay, it's a local number, 587-789-0727, and it's open to both Alberta and Saskatchewan residents.
Okay, great. Well, thank you both for joining me today.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hey, it's Justin Marshall from Hot 101.3 and Boom 95.3 radio stations around the Lakeland. And here's what's going on in the area. Cold Lake this Saturday. If you're a bride or you're having a wedding this year, it's going to be the show for you. It's Lakeland's Bridal Showcase 11th year. Miranda Gertson joins me now, and she is the owner of the I Do Shop here in Cold Lake. Miranda, what can you tell us?
We're really excited. This year we have a whole bunch of things happening that are different. When the brides come in, they get an awesome grab bag. They get complimentary sparkling grape juice. There's all kinds of goodies like appetizers, cookies, macaroons, cupcakes, kind of for them to sample, and over 30 different vendors from the Lakeland area there to help them plan their wedding or anniversary or even a vow renewal.
Starts at 10 a.m. $15 to get in. More details at hot1013fm.com. First 50 get the grab bags, right?
Yeah, so we only have 50 grab bags, and they're pretty awesome. They are they're kind of like this, and as the vendors have been bringing stuff in, we've been putting in, but there's some cool stuff, like one of the vendors put in $50 off a set of lashes.
Oh, wow.
There's some homemade bath bombs. There's some goodies, organizers, discounts, coupons, you name it. Everything's in there for the first 50 brides.
Well, that makes people want to come early then.
Yeah, that's the idea. And there's also entertainment happening on the stage all day. So as you're there, you can kind of kick around and see what's happening. And then the big draw for the big prizes happens at 2:30.
Awesome, Miranda. It sounds like a lot of fun. Can't wait to check it out this Saturday.
Thanks.
And if you have an event you would like to feature on what's happening, shoot me an email, jmarshall@stingray.com.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
In studio today, joining myself is Eric Bay, and we're here to talk about something that I'm assuming most people, if not all people, are going to be watching this weekend, and that is Super Bowl 54, Super Bowl Live here. And Eric, this is one that has, I guess, quite a bit of backstory to it, especially with both coaches each having appeared in Super Bowls before this.
Yeah, this is kind of, I guess you could say, a redemption game of sorts for these guys. Obviously,
Andy Reid is coming in here, hasn't been around since 2006 there with the Eagles, was beaten by Bill Belichick and the Patriots, so a long time coming from him. He was obviously longtime coach of the Eagles there as well, and now obviously trying to take the Chiefs to their Super Bowl, first time they've been there in 50 years as well. And then you mentioned there on the other side of the ball, Kyle Shanahan, he's now getting his shot as a head coach and was there during the Falcons' 28-3 lead that was blown, playing offensive coordinator, so definitely a shot for these two, get some redemption and kind of wipe the slate clean for them.
And for the 49ers, you know, it's been since 2013, so not quite as long for them going to the Super Bowl. And, I mean, you mentioned Andy Reid. He's one of the best coaches of all time. He's actually the most winningest coach without a Super Bowl. So for him, he's really got that chip on his shoulder. And I think, you know, some of the guys, they're going to want to do it for him, if not for themselves. But I mean, when you get into that Super Bowl scenario, I think it's all on the line. Anybody who's injured, who's, you know, whatever it may be, is really going to be going out there. And there's a couple key injuries, especially for the Chiefs on the D side of the ball there, Eric.
Yeah, definitely one thing to look at for sure is Chris Jones. Obviously, he was limited in that championship game, has a problem there with his legs, so he should be good. 2 weeks off, obviously, is pretty much does the work there for anyone playing in a sport like football, obviously, so he should be good. He was only allowed to be in kind of third down situations for the Chiefs there last time, but he should be pretty effective there, paired up again on that D-line, so pretty good rush for sure on Jimmy Garoppolo.
So the Chiefs, they got Sorensen and Frank Clark are two of their key pieces, with Sorensen leading all playoffs, or I guess everybody in this game who's playing in tackles, and Clark leading all of playoffs in sacks. I guess they're not really known as much for the defense, and specifically because of their stellar offense led by Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, definitely all that focus does go on the offense. I mean, there's just so many weapons, right? Patrick Mahomes, you got Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, fastest guy in the game. I mean, Sammy Watkins might only be their number 3 receiver, and he was the 4th overall pick. But their defense definitely has improved this year. You mentioned Frank Clark there, and again, Chris Jones, if he is healthy, great defensive ends. And another guy you never mentioned too is Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. He's kind of been that heart and soul leader there from the safety position. He was flying all over the field against the Titans, so I expect him to do pretty well here and be a big part of this Super Bowl Sunday.
Now, Eric, while we keep on the topic of defenses, let's talk about the 49ers and specifically their D-line, which has been an absolute beast throughout this season, starting off with rookie defensive end Joey Bosa.
You mean Nick Bosa? Yeah, he's good. His brother, I mess that up all the time too, but I mean, Nick could be Defensive Rookie of the Year, led the team in sacks and pressures, so obviously just a great season for him, but that's something they've built up here for the past few years. Obviously, Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner, both former first-rounders. Dee Ford came over from the Chiefs, actually. And I mean, Solomon Thomas, former 3rd overall pick, isn't even in the starting lineup just because they're so deep there. So they've done a good job all season. They had the top passing defense in the game this season, so it should be a good opportunity here for Mahomes. They just got to keep him contained and make sure they give him as little time as possible to make those plays.
So, Eric, Mahomes is being sacked twice in these playoffs and only has a loss of 2 yards between those two. So how important is it for that D-line to get on him quick and make sure he can't be the playmaker that he loves to be?
I mean, that's just it. They got to be on him quick because obviously we mentioned all those weapons, Hill, Kelce, and he can make plays with his feet too. So they have to be there quick, getting that pressure, but also making sure they are disciplined, not getting too far upfield so they are able to contain him so he can't, scramble out of the pocket, either extend plays with his arm or his legs.
Now, one player that we haven't talked about much is George Kittle for the 49ers. I mean, he's one of the best players in the league, arguably the best tight end in the league, with another person being Kelce, who's in that discussion, also in that game. How can he change this game for the 49ers?
And I mean, you talk there, might be the best in the game. He's probably the best run-blocking tight end in the game. So I think really, if it's not in the pass game, that's who's going to affect this. They love that running game in San Francisco. They have the 3-headed monster with Raheem Mostert, Matt Breida, and Tevin Coleman. So I think him in the running game, he's big, he's physical. So I think that's kind of where he affects this game here.
Now, Eric, one last question. Who's your pick for the game?
It's going to be close. Obviously, great offense, great defense. I think defense wins championships. 49ers by 3.
Well, defense wins championships, and he puts a score on it too. I guess only time will tell. We'll see you on Monday.
Taking a look at your 7-day forecast, a high of +3 and a low of -4 for tomorrow, and then -7 on Sunday, -15 on Monday, -5 on Tuesday, -1 on both Wednesday and Thursday, and -6 on Friday to wrap up your 7-day forecast.
I love it. Tomorrow's going to be nice. 3.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
it won't be too bad.
It's not too bad. And then, well, I think Sunday will be a little bit cold, but it'll be nice because football is on and I can stay home and watch the Super Bowl.
Yes, but first we have to announce the pet winner of this week. Lots of cute submissions that we got this week, so it was hard to choose. Oh, but Riley in the little life jacket, super cute. Oh, and I'll be in contact with you on Monday to give you directions on where and when you can pick up your Pet Pad gift card. Congratulations to both you and Riley.
Beautiful.
Super cute dog.
I love it. I love it. Going back to the sports thing as well after the pets. I think you're going to have your pets watch the game with you.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, congratulations to
Those
the
are
pets.
always nice.
Always nice. Anyway, we'll see you later, of course. Everyone, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you again. Enjoy the Super Bowl.